Hello and welcome back to the 2025 European Orienteering Championships. The first time it's ever been held in Belgium, and we are ready for an afternoon of knockout sprints, bringing you every single quarterfinal live, followed a little bit later on this afternoon by the semi-finals and the finals as well. And we will crown two new European champions before the day is done. Yesterday, they did the qualification, and Jonas, it was such a tough qualification. Only 12 athletes from each heat making it through to the finals.
It was very tough and intense, and we had a few of the favorites, both in the men's and in the women's class, that actually missed it. Andrine Benjaminsen didn't make it to the finals in the women's class, and Joey Haddon didn't make it to the finals in the men's class. So it was a tough one. It was an intense qualification course, and it's going to be a bit similar today as well.
Yeah, we're in the same town of Geel in Belgium, and we will see the finish for all of the races at this arena in the centre of the town. And very different challenges, of course, will be faced throughout all of the rounds as we try and knock down the athletes to the final six, who will go head to head to try and win that European title. And it's quite a small town, but the organisers and planners have done a great job of opening up some little sections, being quite creative in terms of creating barriers, things like that we will go in. And I think we could well be in with some shocks across the course of this afternoon. Of course, already some athletes missing out on even these knockout stages, but there's a few juniors who've made it into the mix here. There's a few sprint specialists, knockout sprint specialists as well, who we could look to be seen to do really, really very well. Always when you have these sprint distances, it can really lend itself well to a younger athlete kind of coming out of nowhere and doing really, really well. So we have this estimated winning time of just under 8 minutes then for each of these quarterfinals. We'll start with the women's. They go off every 6 minutes. So we will kind of catch up with the start of each race and then look at the tail end of each race as well, catch up with them live. But this is the course. Jonas, why don't you talk us through it and the remote start?
Yeah, it's a remote start, so we're going all the way back to the finish. It's a very intense start. You can see it's short controls, basically all the way to the fifth control. So it's hard to get a good position. I think there will be fighting a little bit of fights in the beginning. Then 5, 6, the first route choice. I like this one. You have basically two options where you can go. Then back to this intense orienteering all the way to control 8, and then from 8 to 9, I would say it's gonna be the decisive part. I think the first bit all the way to 8 is all about positioning and get a good feeling for the group, and then 8 to 9 is really where the action will happen, because then we have a longer route choice. The different options quite similar distance-wise, but I mean, in knockout orienteering, it's enough if you lose about 5 to 10 meters, so it's definitely gonna be decisive here.
right, and here's the GPS also from the beginning, because it's a small delay. Pictures from the start. We have one team split during the qualifications. Some more team split later on when it comes to the semifinals and finals. Grace Molloy, Vilma von Tusenstjärna, Maja Sianoja, Annie Jamponen, Simona Ebersson, and also Ingrid Lundanes, Norway, in this first quarterfinal for the women. Looks to me that they are together. No one's with the... It's hard to see from this GPS right now. I see that we can see clearly.
Yeah, we have a bit of sound problem here, but maybe it's all sorted out, at least for me. Gonna see if we can get Catherine back as well. We're on the way to the 6th control now. You can see those are the different options. You would have the chance as well to go to the west from control 5. But of course, that would be a bit of a risk as long as all of the athletes are together. Different choice there. I think if you're already out there, you shouldn't go the way Jantunen is going. She will gonna have to turn back again in order to get to the 6th control. All the others have a shorter entrance to the 6th control, so I think she might lose a bit of distance, a bit of time on this one. The very interesting part then will be who is gonna be first at control 8 and who is gonna decide which of the route choices they're gonna take.
Yes, and we should see them at control number 8. That's where we really get a chance to see what that order is like and whether there is a gap based on those different route choices.
We can also see that it actually didn't matter too much for Jantunen, that she went all the way around. Surprises me a little bit. I thought when you go on this eastern route, you should be consequent executing it. We have
There's also a lot of barriers towards the 8th control, but this should be, they should go through the park, and I wonder if that will affect their route choice to control 9. Although Lundanes is going the other way.
Lundanes is going the other way. It'll be interesting. I mean, we
yeah,
talked
you
about
can
that.
sneak through the little car park, I guess.
There are different routes then from 8 to 9. One of them, the shortest one, is going to the east. So basically, out again, the way you come in, well, it depends on where you come from towards the 8th control, but from the east. And if you enter control 8 from that direction, most likely go out there as well. Again, here we have them in the picture.
So there's 5 of them in that picture. I think we don't have Lundanes in that group,
yeah.
Otherwise they're all the same. And they punch the control 8 and go out again towards the south. Now the crucial part here is, do they stay together? And they do. There's Lundanes just off the back.
But it will be difficult for her, even if it's just a few meters. You can see that the speed went up for all of the athletes. Now they're going to push very hard. I think all of them are going on the same route here.
Yeah, they'll head out to the east, and then when they get to the barriers, we'll go west, and then got to make your way through the car park towards control number 9, or all the way around the church. But they all 5 of them close together, and you could kind of see, well, Abersold was near the front, Malloy was kind of trying to edge her way out and into the lead, and from the drone shot it's going to be hard to pick out the order of the athletes.
Malloy a few steps behind, right?
I think it might be in dark shorts and the light coloured top.
Looks like the running style of her. We also can't see Lundenes in this shot. It seems to
I think
me
it's
that it's
Absol, and it's
probably
one of the
Abersold.
darker
Yeah,
kits, I think, as well. So that's probably Vilma von
Vilma von
Krusenferne.
Krusenferne. Mhm.
And then through the car park, round these artificial barriers here. There are 3 of them there. And then I think Grace Malloy just, yes, doesn't have that top speed to match the others. They'll go and punch the 9th control very soon. In fact, Cianoia and Malloy went the other way round the church. Lundenes was the one who we saw behind them. But here comes Abersold and Vilma von Krusenferne, the top 2 clear at the moment. They will qualify at this also. The young, the 16-year-old, 15 or 16-year-old Finn to take the Annie Janssenen to take the 3rd spot. Here comes Grace Malloy in 4th. Then we have Maya Cianoia into 5th place, and it will be 6th place for Ingrid Lundenes, taking that different route choice into control 8, drops her behind. But we have the qualification for Abersold, von Krusenferne and Janssenen.
Interesting. I mean, we've been talking just before the broadcast about Jantunen and talked about what should we say about her because we haven't seen her on this level yet. And I said, yeah, well, it's so much about the experience in this knockout sprint, so she's going to have a tough time. But she did it really well, and she went on her own route towards control 6. So that was very impressive.
Okay, this second quarterfinal then coming quick and fast here. We have Pia Youngvik in this one from Norway. She qualified in the lead here for her race. Alexandra Hornick from Poland has taken a 4th place at the World Champs sprint race. Alina Gempeler, top 10s at sprint as well. Lots of runners in here who've actually made semi-finals before in knockout sprints, also Hedvig Valbjørn Goodison and Maël Bovir. So for me, this is, anyone could take this one.
It's a tight one, definitely. There's still more or less together. Now they're splitting up. At this point here, you can see that Maël Bovir, Alexandra Hornick, Pia Youngvik. It's hard to say.
Yeah, they all look like they're between the fences, and I think the others, so Goodison, Gempeler,
exactly, they're south of
have all gone south of the fence.
So 3 of them on the Jantunen option. We noticed before that it didn't matter too much.
No, they all just met up exactly at the same time last time.
It's also interesting to follow here which runners are taking the lead, which runners do dare to actually be in the driver's seat. You can see that Pia Youngvik leading her group. It would also be a tactic to be a little bit behind and start to read control 8 to 9 in order to be 100% prepared there, and then start your attack at control 8 if you're confident about your running shape. Then you can do that, of course.
And will they be looking at the rest of the course early on when it's so tricky at the first parts?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you don't have to, I mean, they know that it's unforked, honestly. I mean, there's no map flip or anything. There was no runner's choice, so they know that. And you can just follow if you want and keep in a group and decide that, okay, I'm going to stay behind Pia Youngvik, whatever happens, and then hope for the best and start prepare one of the legs later on. Of course, that's a big risk, and usually you want to do at least a bit of the orienteering yourself as well, but it could be a tactic.
Yeah, and they're all sticking together here as well, going through the car park, round the barriers in towards 8th control. That's where we will see them get our proper chance to see the order of the runners, whether they're close together. At one point, it looked like Hornick was a little bit further back, but they'll come round behind from the left from this hotel. This is Pia Youngvik in the lead.
Still and in the lead, Maël Bovir. Behind, Hornick has been at this last spot for a while now.
So they all go down south here, then they'll cross the bridge, and it's where they turn from there. Oh, so they're splitting up now. 2 go straight on, 4 turn right, and if you turn right, that is going to be the shorter route. It's not by much, it's only by about 10 meters, but it could make the difference.
Interesting to see if it will pay off.
So Gempela and Petarova are the 2 that have gone across the grass here. This is the slightly shorter route. And all of the others, Vic, Giddison, Bovir, in fact, Hornick also went obviously across the track, so equal.
I mean, it's shorter, and you barely have any bigger turns here. It's very straightforward. You have this long section here where you can just be pushing. So I think that's going to make a little difference as well. Or at least that's the expectation of the course planners.
You have the U-turn by the by the car park, and where there's those kind of square pale pink shapes.
You have to turn from the other direction as well. Not a U-turn, but you have to turn there from the other directions as well. So it's going to be interesting.
What I love about these quarterfinals is we'll have 12 of exactly the same race, and each 12 will be run differently, and already we can see that, and this will be our first indication really of which of these is quicker, going around to the west or to the east here.
It's very equal.
I think it is. Okay, let's catch up with them.
Hard to say. I don't think the GPS is so accurate. It's
No, I don't think
is it?
Yeah, it is. She's still in the lead, I think. And Melbo there, and the Dane as well. Hedvig Valdren Gudesen. All of them coming in. So Pia Young Vic, and these 3 are actually clear. Pia Young Vic, Melbo there, and Gudesen all qualify through into the semi-final. And would
with that,
they the 3 that went? Yeah, they were the 3 who went east.
Yeah, exactly. So we can say that it was a bit quicker.
And actually a lot quicker. Look at that, 9 seconds.
Yeah, but you don't really know when they see the back of the others, and you don't know if they slow down towards the end because they know that they don't have a chance anymore. But it's a difference of at least 5 to 7 seconds.
Okay, straight on to quarterfinal number 3 then. A mixture of very big experience here, and some very new runners, some making their senior debuts. Victoria Hester Bjornstad has been really impressive. She's got experience, she's made finals before, she won her qualification, so look out for the Norwegian. Cécile Calandry, French athlete, she and Simona Abbasol, the actually only 2 finalists from the World Champs who are here, who have made it even to these quarterfinals. But we've also got Hanna Hilo from Finland, Teresa Roturier from Czechia, super experience as well. But Yendin Jelstad Ribard from Norway, her first European champs. Elsa Sonnesson making her senior debut. So big mixture of experience here. And you can see they're taking this different route from 5 to 6, but all sticking together as we would expect. Jonas, what do you think?
Yeah, in a heat like this, I would expect it quite. I mean, it's not the heat where you have 2 big favorites that possibly could split up and then do their work on the other one. I think Victoria Hesta Björnstad and Cécile Galantry, I'm quite confident that they can bring it home when they together with the others that control 8, so they don't have to risk anything. And I think for the others, it's also that the chances are higher if they are all together. So I think I'm not very surprised. It's always a risk you take if you would be the only one taking something else. Of course, you could win, but you could also lose everything.
And I think if you're going to split up, you'll split up on the later route choice, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you take a risk, then take it at control 8.
Oh, so now they split up slightly. Calandry goes south. The others will go through the passage. That's actually the school hall that they've opened up, though, to approach Control 7 from the north. And it might just, change the order of things as well in the mix. But certainly shows Calandry is being active and making her own route choices.
See that she turned. She was probably a bit quicker. It's so hard to say with these GPS dots here. It's not very accurate.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we'll
but we're
see
gonna.
at control 8 whether she comes in with any sort of a lead.
Maybe. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be very interesting if they would split up again. Now we know that at least in the second heat, women
Very soon we have the pictures from
running to the
control.
east were a bit quicker.
Okay, this is the 8th control. Watch out for them coming from the left of the picture. Here they are. And yeah, this is Cécile Calandry with a little bit of a gap. Teresa Roturier then next. And then Victoria Hester Bjornstad in 3rd place. Ooh, and they were kind of stopping there.
They're
Ooh, one of
splitting
them
up.
goes a different way.
I think it was Hesta Björnstad. I'm not 100% sure.
I think
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
right.
she's backing out again. That's
Ooh.
not the best option. Okay, she's going to the east there. You could have gone south where the others are and then to the east.
So
That's an option
Roturier,
as well.
Sonneson, Calandry taking a middle route, in fact, a route that we haven't seen yet, but is again fairly even to all of the other two. Bjornstad, Rebard and Hilo all the way out to the east, which last time was quicker. Whether it will be quicker this time, we don't know. Those are the 3 of them there. So Bjornstad going back out to the north. She's still in the same, she still managed to catch up with Hilo and Ribard there to take the corner, now heading west. And then we just have to wait and see. We haven't seen this middle route choice before. We can see there with Calandry, Sonneson and Roturier. We have not seen that one, so who knows how that is going to play out, be our first indication.
Compared with Elina Gempele in the previous quarterfinal.
I mean, just looking at the GPS, the feeling is that Suneson is just a few steps behind. That could also be a lagging of the technique here. So we have to wait until we get the pictures from Control 9.
Yeah, Calandry was oh no, they're all close together now. Oh my goodness me, this is going to be tight. I think that's Calandry in the dark bottoms and the white top out there first. So she looks like she's going to be clear, was pushing the pace early on with that different route choice early on. And Calandry punches first, then it's Roturier, then I think that's Hester Bjornstad as well. So despite going around the backing out, taking a different route choice, it does look like she will qualify, and it is clear in the lead for Cécile Calandry, then Teresa Roturier, and then Victoria Hester Bjornstad. For me, I think that is the experience there from those 3 just coming true and ending up, putting in the semi-finals.
Yeah, definitely. You have been talking about that we have different kind of runners in these heats with experience or not that experience on the international level and knockout sprints, and all 3 of them going to the semi-final, definitely among the experienced ones.
We have a few very experienced ones here as well. Natalia Gempele, of course, 25 World and European Champs medals to her name, European bronze medalist in this knockout, and Yves van Dongen as well, who is a bit of a knockout sprint specialist with bronze at the World Champs back in Denmark 2022. Those 2, for me, the big favourites in this race, I think. We've also got Ana Isabel Toledo, 4th in the test races as well, made a semi-final at the last Europeans. So the Spaniard, I think we can look to do well. We've also Rita Mamarosi, a junior, 7 J-walk medals to her name. She's raced at senior level before, done very, very well. And Cecilia Anderson, Emma Louise Arneson, both of those have been here at the quarterfinals before. So they have experience racing at this level. And at the moment, of course, as we expected it to be, all sticking together from control 5 to 6. It's a really interesting route choice. I'd love to see the matchup of somebody going all the way around to the left and somebody going all the way around to the right. And
They're
well, now they
splitting up
split up
this
to go into
point.
the control. Yeah.
Yeah, but here we know that it doesn't matter too much.
That's the question. And here they are splitting
It's in
up.
different routes then as well. 6 to 7, where Calondry was a bit quicker going to the south.
And the others left, and I think it was a little bit faster for Rita Maramarossi and the two
Let's see if
brothers.
Maramarosi and Toledo
Not that much.
are the ones leading that group.
Almost together. Now
Yeah, Cecilia Anderson, the only one going around to the north here.
left here around that building.
We expect she'll lose a little bit of time.
Good choice, I believe.
Although sometimes when you're running by yourself, do you push it that little bit harder and go quicker?
Well, she will definitely be pushing hard now because she's going to be afraid that she's going to lose the group by, being the only one going to the north. Otherwise, I don't think on a short course like this one here it matters too much. You can have good speed on your own as well. I think it's more in longer distances or towards the end of a classic sprint where you have advantage of other runners and kind of have this tempo control. I think here in so short races, it's more about being confident that you're still in the group and that you have contact with the others.
So yeah, it does look like Cecilia Anderson lost the back of the pack on that one. Let's see, Eve van Dongen in the lead, Natalia Gempeler, Rita Maramarossi, then Anna Isabel Toledo. 4 of them with a little gap then. Back to Arneson, who's dropped off the back. So too has Anderson. So there's a bit of a gap there with 4 of them, and they all go straight on here. They all looks like they're going to take this route choice around to the east. So I wonder if the pace here is just that little bit higher to see, Emma-Louise Arneson dropping off the back, as well as Cecilia Anderson.
She lost a bit to 7 as well by going to the north. And she's going on a different route now. I think that's the right thing to do. She was not in the group. She has to take a risk here.
Yeah, she has to do something to try and win back some time. Oh, got to watch out for the car. Is that Eve van Dongen off the back of that group now? I think it is. So surely Eve van Dongen is
so
up
hard
the
to
front.
say.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like I'm trying to look out for the orange, the Dutch orange. Well, maybe there's the kind of red and yellow
Spanish one as well.
Yeah, off the back, I think that is. So maybe Toledo just dropping back of that group. Either way, there's a kind of 3 out the front now.
Usually we would get the answer from the GPS, but it's very hard to get an answer from this kind of picture here.
It really, really is. And it's quite hard just testing our eyesight to look down from that drone shot. I think for the semi-finals and the finals we'll have a lot more camera coverage as well. So fear not for knockout fans. Okay, they're going the long way around the church here. I wonder what that will mean for Cecilia Anderson, but it does look like there's a group, there's 3 of them who have got a gap here, and it is Eve van Dongen from the Netherlands in the lead at the moment. Then Natalia Gempeler, then Rita Maramarossi falling over at the control there. It's okay, she has some clear distance between her and the rest. So 3 of them here clearly qualifying for these semi-finals, and only just see the next runners coming up to the finish line. And that is Anna Isabel Toledo coming into 4th place. So Eve van Dongen, Rita Maramarossi and Natalia Gempeler making it through to that second semi-final. There's Cecilia Anderson, there's Emma-Louise Arneson as well on the last few steps of that quarterfinal. 4 out of 6 done, so we know the names of the first 2 semi-finals now. Very exciting. So we will move on to quarterfinal number 5. This one, lots of names in here who could do very well. Alva Sonesson, who was part of the Swedish sprint relay team a couple of days ago. Inka Nurminen has also ran for Finland, first leg for her. Malin Egvig Christiansen, both the Egvig Christiansen sisters have lots of potential for these champs.
They are out there, and you can see
Maria
the play
Prieto, don't count her out from Spain,
from
and
the start of this,
Elena Babic from Ukraine, Ellie
last
Punto from
quarterfinal
Finland,
for
another
women.
junior. In fact, she's making her senior debut at these championships. She's a former Jaywalk sprint champion. So anything could happen. And they will take this east route choice, yes.
If they're splitting up anything, we haven't seen it often that they split up early. I mean, here there would be a good possibility to take another route between 5 and 6. The earliest, I think, one of the earliest, quite often we have seen different entrances to Control 6 and then different ways north or south to 7. So usually it starts at 6 when they really begin to split up here.
Could part of the route choice decision making be the opportunity? I mean, here they're running between two fences until they get to a road and then turning left. Like, that is a few seconds where they actually have time to look at later in the course. Do you think they might choose that route for that reason?
I don't think so, because you could still look at, as I mentioned before, you could still look at the route from 8 to 9 by just following the others and actually not read the map between 6 and 7 for once. You know that you won't end up at the wrong control. So I don't think that's a reason. That's nothing you really base your route choices on. But well, once you're on that route choice, you definitely take the chance to do so. But I don't think that you take the decision and have that in mind.
So everybody the same way here to 7. It's quite typical of a Belgian sprint that in these school courtyards, they've opened up some gates, they've added some fences in, and a school means you often only have a few set entrances to a school to kind of keep it quite secure. So I think it lends itself quite nicely to sprint orienteering, and those who have raced quite a few times in Belgium will have had that kind of experience. Okay, Elena Babic going a different way.
Yeah, going to the north here. Looks as if Sunesson is doing the work for the group back there, just ahead of Nurminen and Prieto.
Here we go. There they are, and we have Alva Sonesson in the lead. We've got the two Finns. Everybody going back out that way. Oh, which way is she going to go? Oh, that was a lot of decision making there from Maria Prieto. She's gone the other way, but spent quite a few seconds deciding, and Babic will follow. We'll wait and see which way they actually go then after crossing the bridge. But a hesitation for just like 3 seconds, that would have felt like ages, I think, for Maria Prieto, and will, mean she's lost quite a few meters in terms of the race.
And now we have 3 runners on this Eastern together in a bigger group. 4 of them, actually.
Yeah, and it's Malin Egve Christensen who is setting the pace here by Alva Sonesson in the dark kit. Then we've got the two Finns, that's Unka Nurminen and Ellie Punto. And yeah, we would expect, I think, someone like Malin Egve Christensen to be wanting to really push the pace here.
Maybe a Finnish battle here for the 3rd position. Waiting for them to the last control very soon.
So when they did this route choice, I think it was on the 3rd quarterfinal, it was quite similar, but Babic and Prieto were already behind, leaving the 8th control. they'll all go through this gap in the car park. Okay, let's see
4
who makes
runners
it
there
up.
in the group fighting for the 3 spots now.
Yeah, here we go. There is Dane and Sweden and Finland. And it's actually Ellie Punto who's the best of the 2 Finns. So Malin Ugvik Christiansen, Alva Sonnesson, and it's Ellie Punto to make it through with Inka Nurminen not quite having that speed. You could just see her losing the back of that group on that route choice. Here's the next athlete. Here's Maria Prieto crossing the line now. Elena Babic then as well, but it is Malin Egve Christiansen, Alva Sonnesson, and Ellie Punto, the junior, to make it through to the semi-finals.
Through to the semi-final, the third and last semi-final they will be running in.
Okay, ready for our 6th quarterfinal, our last quarterfinal then for the women. 2 big names in this race, and with a mixture of experience, because Sanna Fast started here at these championships with no sprint world ranking points. She is incredible in the forest, picking up a medal at the world champs, but does not have the experience of the sprint. And we've got Ida Egvik Christiansen, who was 2nd in the Swedish Sprint Champs, 3rd in the test races. She's made knockout finals before. So for me, those 2 big names, then it could be a scrap. And this is the quarterfinal with 7 athletes on it as well. And I don't know whether that's going to make any sort of difference for the runners here.
Well, it's going to be tighter and it's going to be more nervous. We have 7 runners fighting for the 3 positions. Of course, it makes a bit of a difference. It's hard to find the position in the group. But you can see that Sanna Fast is really trying to be in the driver's seat here. High speed here by the Swedish runner. You said it, she's not that experienced in sprint level internationally at championships, but I mean, she has got a great feedback about her shape throughout the forest season. So I think she's quite confident anyway.
Yeah, she was 2nd in the qualifier as well. I think she'll be feeling very, very comfortable here, even if she's not got that experience of what it is like to run a knockout sprint, running all of these rounds together, being amongst the others. But, if we can take this GPS tracking well, then it looks like she's positioned herself at the front of the group and is looking to dominate then here, which I think is probably, for someone like her, the safest way to get through is just to be there from the start.
And you can see that Sanna Fast already with a gap there to Ida Gervik Christiansen. There seems to be another gap, small gap. Let's see if that's true.
Yeah, I think she's really, really pushed the pace out here. And here she is. Here's Sanna Fast. And there is a big gap then here. The fact that we couldn't see anybody coming there past her shows to me that there's a gap. And it's 4 seconds ahead of Ida Agvik Christensen. Another 2 seconds back to the Hungarian Boglaka Chasko. Then a few more. So this, I think, the pace here is really, really high. And they all cross the bridge, go out here together. I think they've all crossed, turned right at that path junction there as well, with the leading 3 crossing the grass and heading all the way out to the west. I mean, they could have done it already, made that qualification for those top 3 already, just in the speed, clearly, that Sanna Fast is setting.
I'm a bit surprised. I mean, we have a bit of a gap between the first 3 and the rest of them. They would have had the chance at Control 8 to take a different option and maybe get back in the fight again. It will be very, very hard for Clementin and Dürkon Hanauer to get into the top 3 like this, because too physically, maybe they think that they can take the 3rd spot there from Chaco, but it will be very hard to threaten Christiansson or Fast.
Yeah, you kind of have to back yourself as a runner, and with him already having lost that much time just in the first stage of the race, it's going to be so hard to close that back. I think the others have overpaced it, but there's too much experience there at the in amongst the leaders of this one for them to have overpaced it. And there you can see the gap. And in fact, actually, there is, I think, the fight still on for the third place. No, it isn't. That's fourth to seventh, I think. And I think there is a clear gap between third and the rest, with Chaco from Hungary and Sanafast can jog in. This is the clearest win so far. Sanafast putting in all the work at the start of the course. Then it's going to be Ida Egvik Christiansen to join her sister in the semi-final. Then Boglaka Chaco from Hungary crossing, and a big gap then back to the next athletes racing for some of the ranking places, I think, with Tricon crossing into fourth, Vera Clemetin and Florence Anoe. And then we end with Ilvi Kastner from Austria. So Sanafast, Ida Egvik Christiansen, Boglaka Chaco making it into the semi-final. And that's the women's quarters all the way done. Jonas, what do you think?
I mean, Sanafast was incredibly fast, 7:36, second quickest on the course. Natalia Gempele, 7 minutes and 50 seconds, so she was 14 seconds faster than the second quickest. That's very good, and it's going to be interesting to follow her throughout the semifinals and the finals then. But let's focus now on the men's quarterfinal.
Yeah, we will indeed. We're going straight on to the men's races. And this one, I think, is the heat of death. We've got Ralph Street, Ricardo Rankin, he's the world champion, August Mullane, previous silver medalist at the world champs. We've got Casper Fosse, former sprint champion. We've got, I mean, even Anselm Reichenbach made the final in the test races in the knockout as well. I think this is really big, but I'm very excited to say that this group have actually split up here to the sixth control, with Fosse and Rudny going round to the east and the rest of them going round to the west. This is the first time we'll get to see whether this route choice has an impact on the race, because for all of the women's heats, they all went exactly the same way. They went different ways on each heat, but within each heat, they all chose pretty much the same, apart from the entrance into the control itself.
It's not that surprising that you can see Fosse doing this here. I mean, if you look back at Fosse's results in knockout sprints, I mean, it's hard for him because when he really gets in the head-to-head from the second to last or the last control to the finish, it seemed that he prefers to be pushing really hard from the beginning to put his own speed, and maybe the distance a bit too short as well in knockout sprint. So I'm not surprised that he tries to go his own way here from the very beginning.
For me, I'd say, I mean, we're talking about Casper Fosse here. I would say this is his weakest discipline.
Yeah, probably. It is so short, that's a problem. I mean, there's so many athletes that can follow you or that can follow each other on a course that's 7 or 8 minutes long. It gets much harder if you take that up to 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes.
And again, he's gone the different way, clearly wants to try and do something different to the others to try and make that difference, exactly as you were talking. So we'll see them at control 8. They're coming around this hotel. Some people there enjoying their afternoon tea or afternoon glass of wine. We'll see what happens. That's Ralph Street in the lead. Then we've got August Mullane. Then it's Ricardo Rancan. Then it's the Czech athlete Martin Rudny with Anselm Reichenbach off the back there as well. Where is Casper Fosse? And they're all going the same way here. There he is. Here's Casper Fosse. Does he go the same way? He does for the moment. There's still two choices to be made. Another choice to be made on the route choice here. Looks like the leader's going across the grass. I think we're having trouble with Fosse's GPS a little bit here. So we'll see whether he follows the others at the moment.
He does.
He does. So he's got to try and catch up then on this flat, straight run here, where you can really pick up the speed and getting kind of nervous on these last few stages of the race, but you can see he is behind. And yeah, I think it just shows Casper Foster does not have the level of confidence in his ability on this kind of course compared to others. I think he doesn't race it as conventionally as other people would do, because I think he thinks he has to do something different.
And that's a replay here. You can see it. Well, I think he's quite. I mean, either he's very confident, or then he thinks that he has to do something special in order to get to the semi-final. This is a very tough heat. I mean, he could have chosen a different one, and then he would have had bigger chances to go maybe to the semi-final. But if you want to win it, I think it's the right way to go.
Okay, well, who's going to make it through? It's not going to be Ralph Street. I think it was August Mullane and the German, I think, as well, and Rankan, who are all going to make it through. In fact, the German Reichenbach crosses the line first. It's great tonight. August Mullane in second and Ricardo Rankan into third place. So Ralph Street is out of it in this one. The world champions, Ricardo Rankan, safely through, but Casper Foster is also out. We said this was the heat of death, and a casualty there in the form of Casper Foster. And the young German there, look at his delight on taking that one, taking the win there and out sprinting the others. He is a former junior world sprint champion from a couple of years ago, does have pedigree, but it's a different thing doing it on the senior level. Let's go to quarterfinal number 2. There's actually 3 first-time qualifiers in this heat. It's a heat of 7, so 7 guys going here, and for me, and I think for you as well, Jonas, one of the favourites.
Well, Thomas Heikkilä is so strong throughout the sprint season. One of the runners that you could say, yeah, he is a sprint specialist. Has some good performances in Forest as well in relays, but mostly throughout the last years we've seen him in sprints and top results. But I would say that, I mean, even Granqvist here or Dulen, they have a good chance to make it to the semi-final. It's not an easy one to qualify. But Heikkilä has the potential, he has the capacity to kind of put the speed up in the beginning, be there, up there, and just try to get the others tired from the beginning.
Although it looks like it's Jakub Glonek who is pushing the pace here. They all go the same way to control number 6. Jakub Glonek does actually have a top 10 in the sprint level. That was back in 2021 at the World Champs in Czechia. So he looks like he's pushing the pace here. Novak maybe dropping off the back. He's one of those first-time qualifiers, the Austrian. Both Adrian Delaine and Thomas Heikkilä qualified second in their heat. Pick this quarterfinal, and it's good to pick an early quarterfinal, right?
Well, it is, because you have more time to recover, but at the same time, usually you have you have a little bit stronger runners in the heat 1 and 2, because everyone thinks like that. So you're in the early quarterfinal, then you have a bit more time to the semi-final. Maybe it doesn't matter so much because we have a small break there in between anyway, but then semi-final to the final is very tough if you're in the late semi-final and then have to run the final. So often the strongest runners from the qualification, they choose to go to an early heat.
Still here, everybody together as they take the same route choice from 6 to 7, same the whole way around. And just a reminder, the athletes did know that there would be no forking, no runner's choice, no splitting of the routes at all. It was written in the bulletin that the organisers weren't going to use any of these kind of runner's choice, butterfly loops or anything like that in these competitions. Let's wait for them at control 8 then, coming round the hotel. Who will we see first? Now it's Freddie Carcass coming there first, then Thomas Heikkilä, then I think We've
Then,
got, yeah, Delenn and whoa, all going the same way here. All 7 guys really, really super close. Orienteering becoming a bit of a contact sport when you have 7 very strong athletes all together, and they cross the grass here to take the far west route choice. There's 3 route choices from this control, 8 to 9. You can go all the way around to the west as they're doing here. You can go around to the east, kind of make an S shape as well, and you can also take one in the middle.
I mean, all the 7 runners, they were so close together, so I'm not surprised that they choose to go the same way now. It would be something different if you have a gap already at control 8. If you have it like this, it's not a big surprise, because it would be a risk if you, as the only runner, would go to the other one.
So fighting here looks like Hakeler's taken the lead, and there's 4 guys here who've matched the speed, but only 3 of them are going to go through. And I wonder if it's the Swede Axel Granqvist who's maybe
It's
just off the
Granqvist,
back
yeah.
there in 4th place. There's a big old fight here. He's going to try and see if he's timed it well. One more control to go, and then we'll see them at the finish line. And now Axel Grunquist is making his way through these runners, overtaking from 4th into 3rd. But it is Hakeler in the lead, no problem there. Then Grunquist, then Freddie Carcass, then it is the Frenchman. It is Delenn in 4th place. So it is Hakeler who will take the win there. Then Axel Grunquist had a really high speed right at the end there, and Freddie Carcass from Great Britain also making it through. It's his first time to have even made the quarterfinals, so great to see him make the semi-finals here at these European Championships. And a big burn up there for those top 4 especially.
Yeah, well played by basically all 4 of them, but when they are all together at the last control, I mean, one of them has to go out. I think they all did it reasonably good. A bit surprised that Freddie Carcass made it. I would have put my money on Delenn, but a great performance.
Okay, on to quarter-final number 3. And so, I mean, there's big names, it seems like, in every single quarter-final. 6 athletes heading out here. You can see Thomas Kribder there on the left. He won his heats to qualify. He's the Czech knockout champion. We've got Matthias Baravaye as well. He took 12th in the World Sprint Champs. Isaac von Kruner as well, of course, a former Sprint World Champion. Tino Polsini is a Sprint silver medalist as well. Who do you have your money on for this quarterfinal?
Actually, I think this one is a rather tight one. I think Krivda has very good chances to get through. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthias Barros-Valle would get through as well. And then, I mean, von Krusenstjerna Polsini, it's a tough one. Even Eidsmu, it's very. This one I think is very hard to predict. Actually, I would be surprised if Krivda wouldn't make it.
Yeah,
But
me too. I think it's also a surprise to see the Portuguese athlete make it through. That's really great to see an athlete from Portugal making it in, his second European champs, first time qualifying into the actual knockout rounds of this knockout sprint.
Nice to see also Ricardo Esteves Pereira from Portugal in the quarterfinal here.
And with it being so tight, do you think that means it's more likely for the athletes to stick together?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you have one of the big favorites, or even 2 or 3, then if you're number 4, 5, 6, you have to risk something at one point. But if it's very equal, then you could try to put your money on to decide the race from the last control to the finish, as, for example, Axel Granqvist did very, very well when he just worked his way up the positions from the second last to the last control. But of course, then you have to be confident that you actually have the speed and the physicality to do so.
So here they are running together so far in this quarterfinal. We have
So
seen it
still
before.
all together, no differences going into this sixth control, which we have often seen.
I can also see
We
that the
have
dots, they are very, very close to each other. Maybe a bit of a sign that the speed is not incredibly high. That will change now when you have one of the runners going differently.
Do you think they'll spot that suddenly they're down to 5 instead of 6 with somebody going that other direction?
It depends on where he was in the group, but I
Mats
think
Eismo
that
here
you,
with that left road choice.
yeah, maybe it depends. If he was sixth at control 6, then maybe that they didn't see it actually. But it has been a bit quicker before, at least in the women's race, to go to the south
The
here.
group is running the
So
left
then I
road
see
choice
them
here, as we
him
saw Kasper
now
Rossi
when they
earlier.
exit the
Some
control.
seconds slower than running
Yes, they're
right.
all going around this northern route choice, back through this
Bit of a
school hall
banner.
that they've
Maybe
opened
Mats
up
Eismo
north of
is some
7.
meters behind.
And then we'll see them at
But as
control
I
number 8, and we'll
said
see whether
earlier,
Edsmo
the
is off
accuracy
the
is
back of that
not
group. I think he
100% perfect when it comes
is.
down to the G-best
Usually
We
it's
know
quite interesting when they
But very
approach
soon we have
control
a new
8, you
chase
can
from
see
the
how
eighth
the
control,
speed
the city sprint leader in
changes
the
when they
first
exit
semi-final.
control 8, how they speed up, because then it's all about the positioning.
so
See if
Isaac
we
von
can see it
Krusenbrenner,
here again.
Thomas Krivda, then Mattia Baravalle, then the Portuguese athlete. Oh, taking that corner there. But you're right, they are quite close together. And actually, Polsini's going to go a different route here. He goes straight on. He'll take the easterly route choice, and this will be super interesting to see. So Aidsno definitely behind, definitely out of it there after that route choice to 7.
The others go
And now we'll
straight.
see.
It's just 8 Smoo going to the west.
So I think these two route choices were quite similar when we had them in the women's course, but we will see what happens, where Polsini places in comparison to those who've gone the central route choice. Krivda von Krusenfuerner pushing the pace there as we saw them come through control 8.
And Mats Eismo, he is some seconds behind. I don't think Mats Eismo will be able to be.
And of course, Polsini made that choice to go the opposite way, having seen all the others ahead of him turn right. He, has made that decision to run alone. Wants to try and make the difference on the route choice. And of course, you're almost like trying to meta plan this course and thinking about, okay, well, what does the planner want to set? Do they want to set one route choice that is a bit quicker than all of the others? Then they're hoping it's going to be the difference is going to be made on the orienteering here. But it looks like Polsini's lost time for that route choice. Let's see them coming through. He's like on cruising for Thomas Kripke, and I think it's the Frenchman Mathieu Baravalle. There's Portuguese. There's Polsini as well. Yeah, and these three are clear. They all look behind them. They know they can take the qualification. The Frenchman, Mathieu Baravalle, punches the air. Thomas Kripke through. Isaac von Krusenbrenner through. So main names, I think, making it through. But Tina Polsini, not that gamble going the other way around, not paying off for him and his Mats Eidsmo, who really lost the back of that group on the different route choice to control number 7, doing his own thing, wanting to try and get ahead. It was a little bit further, a little bit slower to go through there. So we have our next athletes, and we're already half the way through the men's quarter finals. So Krivda, Baravalle, and von Krusenfeiner making it through now to those semi-finals. Okay, quarterfinal number 4 next, and here we have, I think, what you would say is the biggest knockout specialist. This is Jonathan Gustafsson. He's got 2 bronzes and a silver at this level. He won the Swedish champ.
Biggest specialist running today. I would say we still have a bigger specialist in Matthias Kiburtz, who's not competing today because he has been winning so many championships. But Jonathan Gustafsson, I mean, he has been winning medals in 3 consecutive championships, so he's definitely one of the favorites. He's also the Swedish champion in that discipline.
Yeah, not an easy one to win. Who could challenge him then? Who do you think could get through alongside?
I think that actually Ruohola can challenge him. I get the feeling that he's quite strong physically. Alvaro Casado, I think physically can challenge him as well. Florian Attinger has shown good sprint races last year. But I would say that Gustafsson has well, he's the clearest favorite, but behind it's quite open in this one.
It really is. Casado made the World Champs final in the knockout. He's made semi-finals in the European Champs before. Axeli Rohala not got past the quarterfinal stages yet, so we will wait and see. But from the GPS, it looks like Florian Attinger is maybe setting the pace on this one. If we can trust the GPS here, looks like he's pushing the pace. He did come fourth place at a World Cup sprint in Italy last year, so does have some pedigree in terms of international sprinting, although that was a very, very different course
It's
compared
not
to this
really
one.
the same thing to have a classic sprint or a knockout sprint, really. I mean, this is so much more about tactics. It's so much more about being quick on the very last meters, about fighting for positions from one control to the other, knowing exactly at what point you have to be within the top three of the group in order to see where the others are heading and so on. So I think it's two different things, and it's going to be tough for Casado now because he's going on this northern route.
See, I wonder if he was behind the others anyway and has taken that other route to try and win back some time. I got the impression from the GPS that he was lagging behind a little bit, and I think will have wanted to do something different to try and claw back some meters.
At the eighth control, and the last leg into the last control here in this fourth quarterfinal.
So now they all go then to the north here, grouping back up, and you can see that Casado has dropped back off the pack. So hard to see from the GPS tracking who actually is in the lead. We'll have to wait and see them at the hotel at control number 8.
There's the picture from the TV split.
Okay, let's wait for them, see who is through first. That is Finland and Axeli Rohala in there first. Jonathan Gustafsson next, then Attinger. Casado only 3 seconds back at the moment. Let's watch as they cross the bridge. You can see the pace not super high, and Gustafsson reading his map then here. Which way is he going to go? Continues straight on then Casado. All of the others taking the right-hand turn, and we'll see whether they're going to go the same way.
They're splitting up.
In fact, they
Ruohola
really
is going
do
to the
split
west.
Up.
Attinger and Casado going to the east, and Vandas Björneröd and Gustafsson going straight.
Ooh, this is really interesting to see how decisive this route choice will be. And Gustafsson really, I'm sure now, will have picked up the pace. They looked fairly leisurely. Going through that 8th control, what did you think, Jonas?
I mean, it's so much tactics to this 8th control and out from the 8th control. A bit surprised as well that Gustafsson was so active at control 8. If I would have been him, I would have placed myself in 3rd or 4th because he's clearly the strongest physically. And then look what most of the others do and follow there. But it looks like Ruohola ahead of Gustafsson.
Yeah, and maybe Björneröd possibly.
Yeah, I think so, because Attinger is behind, I guess.
Yeah, Attinger is behind, and the Czech athlete is also behind. Punching here at this control, and it is Ruohola first, then Gustafsson, and then it is the Norwegian Alfred Björneröd going to take the 3rd place. These 3 are clear enough, but Daniel Vandas is going to try and race here, but Ruohola is the quickest there. Gustafsson safely through, one of the big favourites, and it's Alfred Björneröd making his senior debut. Will also make it through to the semi-final. So Axeli Ruohola, first time into a semi-final for him. alongside one of the big favourites, Jonathan Gustafsson, and Alfred Björnerod. Van das Attinger, Casado not making it through there. And yeah, you could really see how Gustafsson, how Ruhala both pushing it, I think, super hard on those Western route choices. And I think the others just struggling on that Eastern one, not matching the speed. So 2 more to go then. 2 more quarterfinals for the men. And this one, again, a good mixture of experience in this one. We've got Erik Langedal Breivik, the middle world and European champion. Max Petter Bejmer, who we saw so much great racing from in the spring as well. We've got a first-year senior in Guillaume Verove. We've got Timo Oxen, he's made a final at a World Cup before in a knockout sprint. And we have a very fast Dane in Elias Inge Krogsgaard, who was second in his heat, first time qualified into a knockout, to the knockout stages at all. So this one, what do you reckon, Yana? Super open?
Yeah, super open actually. I was very surprised as you by Krogsgaard looked so good in the qualification, so probably good shape there for him, which will definitely help him, of course. Erik Langedal Breivik, for me, not the typical sprinter, if you would have asked me earlier, but he has had good results as well in sprint and also quite okay in knockout sprint. Max Peter Bejmer, he had such good shape throughout the season. Well, couldn't really show it at the World Championships, but otherwise the physical shape was very good. Will be interesting to see if he can show that here as well. And Timo Suter could be a guy making it to the semi-final, definitely. But this is a very tight one, I reckon.
And at the moment, all sticking together, maybe Breivik leading the way, Verove, well, no, I think there's just a slight GPS error, but they all look very close together.
Yeah, they will stay together until 8, I guess, and then probably split up. No one making the mistake going north to the 7th control. It's really a tricky one because this 7th control, we know that the 8th control and the route choice is so important. So if you get into a bad position towards control 7 by taking this northern route, that's really, you really don't have any time to get back again.
Just been looking back at some of the results. That last quarterfinal was very slow in comparison. 7:16 won in compared to, if you look at quarterfinal 2, where Thomas Hakeler won it in 6:36. So really big differences in how these races are being run as they all come through all together basically here. Verove in the driving seat though, Breivik, Oxenen. Let's watch. These 6 men very evenly spaced at this point. Ooh, Verove goes to the right. Everybody else goes to the left. And we'll see what that happens. That's the danger of being in the lead, I guess, is you got to make your decision and you just got to fight it on your own, your own feeling. You can't compare yourself to anybody else.
It's quite a tough situation when you're in the lead and no one is following you.
But I think from before, it's looked like a good choice. I mean, they are fairly even. I think it just depends who's pushing the pace, really.
Yeah. But he's alone. The others are 5. Should be a bit of an advantage for the group of 5. Looks as if Krogsgaard is losing contact a little bit.
Yeah, in the red jersey at the back, I think you're right. Otherwise, the 4 of them, the leading 4, well, now it's a bit down to a leading 3, I think. And this looks good for Verove, I think, here.
It's gonna be really tight.
It will be so close here. as they round the car park, round the fence here.
Look at this.
Oh, and
Super,
they're
super
splitting
close.
up again. A few of them going
Oh, that's
around the
very
church.
interesting.
Ah, that's
So
not
we've got
good.
Timo Suter, and Max Verstappen then here, and it's bad if you go around because it's going to be the Swiss who makes it through, and Timo Suter, we've got Guillaume Verreaux, and we've got Max Verstappen making it through and taking the gamble. There he is, Eric Langendahl Breivik, going all the way around the church to the east. That was longer, and it means that Breivik does not qualify into the semi-final. Neither does Oxenen, just being run out of it there. And is Guillaume Verove, who will be super happy with, I think, maybe taking that other route choice as well. Timo Suter and Max Petter to make it through.
Yeah, that was an interesting one with Verov, who took a different route choice and actually it paid off for him. Got back in the group, basically within the group between Suter and Max Peter Weimer. The others, they knocked themselves out by running around the church.
Okay, now the sixth and final quarterfinal. This one again with 7 men in it because we had ties for 12th place. 2 big names for me in this one in terms of Yannick Michels running on home ground and Martin Regborn, the Sprint World Champion. That'll be really, really tight, and I think it could be a scrap for who gets the 3rd spot if things all go to form.
And I have to be honest, I'm a bit surprised that Michels chose to be in Heat 6. He could have chosen an earlier one. I think he wants to be sure, or he wants to get better chances to make it to the semi-final and then probably to the final, but he will have it tougher definitely in the final because he has not that much recovery time if he's
But for
making it to the
him, this
final.
is not the big aim, we think. You know, he thinks his chances are better in the individual sprint, right?
Yeah, I mean, he named him like himself that it's not his strength, this head-to-head in the very last meters, sprinting against the others. I think he has better chance in the individual sprint, but still, I mean, if he puts a high speed from the very beginning and tries to really, like Heikkilä did in his heat, then you could, or Sanafas did in her heat as well, then he could have a really good chance to make the others tired and make it all the way to the final. But definitely, he's one of the favorites for this quarterfinal anyway, together with Martin Rekborn.
So splitting up here into this 6th control. I think these routes fairly even.
Interesting now to see if anyone goes to the north. Actually, it's just Yannick Michels going south. That looks good for him.
That does look very, very good for him. On every other single time we've seen that, we've seen it be quicker to go to the south. So Michels will put himself into the lead here. Whether that's where he wants to be or not, I don't know.
Well, now we're quite late.
A lead with a gap is good, though.
If he gets a 5 to 10 meters, I think he's very happy about that.
Oh, and he goes differently as well to control number 8. He goes out to the north here. Jürgen Younes, Martin Regborn, Fabian Abersold, Kyrja Vinen all going out to the south. Johnson and McNulty turning around, going back to the north. This will be super interesting to see how they all match up then when we see them at control number 8.
Yeah, and then especially how they behave out from control 8. Are they continuing to go on different routes?
Okay, we're
we'll
ready
get the answer
at the
very
8th
soon.
control. And yeah, you just get a sense that Yannick Michels, a bit like Casper Fossard, just likes to do this a bit differently. And he is in 2nd place then. And when he comes through here, Michels, then Jürgen Younes, Regborn, Abersold, Juvinen, McNulty and Jonsson, we've lost off the back there. So I think that advantage that was gained by Michels has been lost. It's to 7, has been lost to 8. Ooh, just got to be careful there.
Now he's going straight, Michels. Jonas and basically all of them, as it seems, maybe not McNulty and Jonsson. They seem to go to the west.
Yeah, they're going to cut across the grass here. Everybody else going that more central route. Again, all of these route choices really really quite even. There's only a few meters difference between all of them. So it's all about the flat speed from here on in and just executing that last section right. It's also about agility of turning the corners as well.
And Rekborn now a few steps behind, as you can see here, if the GPS is right. So it looks good for Michels, Jonas and Abersold.
Yeah, it looks really good for them. I'm surprised to see the sprint world champion behind, although actually he's not that far behind. You can see him in fourth there. I think it's Michels in
going to
the
be
top
hard for him.
two, possibly. Oh, and he knocks down that barrier on turning that corner. Some of them go round it. That could be very interesting. And Regborn's on the back of the other runner. He's going to try and overtake him here, going round these corners. Oh, very tight there. Let's see who's going to make it through. It is Abersold, then it is Michels, then Regborn, then Jonas, and the Estonian's going to be the one who misses out here. Abersold and Michels congratulate each other across the line. Regborn into third, and Jürgen Jonas in fourth place.
That was a really tough one for Martin Rekborn. I think he got a bit of adrenaline there on the way to Control 9. Not the position he wanted to be in at the last control, I guess, or just before the last control, but turned out well for him.
And for Abersold, for me, to only have just qualified, he was equal 12th in the heat. For him only just to have qualified into the quarterfinals, to make it through to the semi-finals now, I mean, you can see he's got a massive grin on his face, and he'll be feeling that he's, being quite lucky coming through there. So I thought we were maybe going to have a shock there with Martin Regborn not making it through, and as it starts to rain, we do have our semi-finals now sorted and organised. There you can see the confirmation and also the differences as well in the speeds of some of these races. It's sometimes good to take a look at that and see, it gives you an indication of just how quick they run. Look at Pierre Young-Vic there, one of the fastest there, but Sanna fast there, 7:37. That is the quickest heat there. And she really dominated that one, as you can see, 10 seconds ahead. For me, in the women's class, no real big misses, really. There's a few you'd hope to kind of maybe see in the semi-finals, but no one of the really top favourites who's been knocked out.
I agree with you. It was a bit different in the men's. I mean, we have Kasper Fosser. We could expect him to go to semi-final, or Ralph Street as well. It is tough. It is tough here. We have seen many height races in the men's quarterfinals, but also here the biggest favorites made it to the semi-final.
Well, they will all go and cool down now, get some recovery in, get some fuel in the quarantine, and get ready for the semi-finals, because they will be taking place in just less than an hour's time. So we'll be back in 50 minutes to take you through the semi-finals and then the finals. Go and get yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, and be back ready for our semi-finals and finals. We'll see you very, very soon.
See you then.
For the semi-finals and finals here in Rio and the knockout sprint. So we take a break for approximately 45 to 50 minutes.